Have you ever noticed how the very first moments of your day can decide the entire mood of your life? Think about it. There are days you wake up, and before your feet even touch the floor, your mind is already filled with thoughts. Sometimes heavy, sometimes chaotic, sometimes anxious. And then there are the rare mornings where you rise with a calm mind, maybe with a deep prayer on your lips or a deep breath of gratitude in your chest. Those mornings feel different, don't they? The truth is, the quality of our life often reflects the quality of our mornings. If we start our day unconsciously, scrolling through our phones, rushing, complaining, or dreading the tasks ahead, our personality will reflect that restlessness. But if we start with intentional positivity, we begin to train both our mind and heart to operate from a place of strength rather than fear. Now, intentional positivity doesn't mean ignoring problems or pretending life is perfect. It means consciously choosing the state of mind with which you will step into the world each morning. Psychologists say that the first 20 to 30 minutes after you wake up are the most impressionable for your brain. Your subconscious mind is like soft clay during that period. It will absorb whatever you feed it. If you immediately start worrying about yesterday's mistakes or today's challenges, your brain registers that as the tone of the day. But if you begin with gratitude, reflection, or even a simple positive affirmation like, "Today I will do my best and I will find peace in whatever comes," your brain locks onto that energy and it ripples through every interaction, every decision, and every emotion that follows. One of the most powerful ways to start your day positively is to practice gratitude the moment your eyes open. It doesn't have to be elaborate. Just pause and acknowledge something simple yet profound. I am alive. I am breathing. I have another day to live, to learn, to grow. Do you know how many people went to bed last night and did not get the gift of this morning? That thought alone can shift your perspective. Gratitude softens the heart and opens it to opportunities you would have otherwise overlooked. It is impossible to be truly grateful and deeply negative at the same time. They cannot exist together. Another habit that builds a confident personality in the morning is speaking to yourself with kindness. Most people engage in silent self-criticism from the moment they wake up. They look in the mirror and immediately focus on flaws. They mentally rehearse fears. I have so much to do. I'm going to fail this meeting. I can't handle this stress. And without realizing it, they are programming themselves for self-doubt. What if instead you decided to become your own motivator? Say to yourself, even quietly, I am capable. I am prepared for today. I will handle whatever comes with patience and wisdom. Positive self-talk may feel awkward at first, but it slowly reconditions the subconscious, which in turn influences how you carry yourself around others. And a confident personality is nothing more than the reflection of an empowered inner conversation. Starting your day with intentional positivity also involves what you feed your mind. Many people, the moment they wake up, grab their phones and scroll through social media or the news. And what do they see? Bad headlines, comparisons, negativity, distractions. Without knowing, they are filling their mental cup with poison before breakfast. Imagine instead replacing that habit with a 5-minute morning ritual, a few deep breaths, a short prayer, or reading something uplifting. Maybe even writing down 3 things you are grateful for. Those 5 minutes are like planting seeds in your inner garden. Throughout the day, those seeds will grow into the calmness, patience, and confidence that people notice as your personality. When you begin your day with purpose, it also subtly affects how you interact with others. A person who has centered themselves in the morning walks differently, talks differently, and responds to life differently. They do not carry the storm of yesterday into the sunrise of today. Instead, they step out into the world with an aura that silently says, I am at peace with myself, and I am ready to give my best. And believe me, people notice this. They may not be able to explain it, but they will feel it. Your personality becomes magnetic, and your confidence feels effortless because it's not an act. It's an inner alignment that started the moment you opened your eyes. If there's one thing I want you to remember from this point, it is this: the way you start your morning is the way you start your life, one day at a time. Even a small ritual of intentional positivity can compound over weeks and months, transforming not only your confidence but also how the world experiences you. So tomorrow, when the sun rises and your eyes open, take a deep breath, whisper a word of gratitude, and step into the day as if it was designed just for you. Because in a way, it is. Have you ever met someone who didn't even speak a word, yet you could instantly sense their confidence or their fear? That is the silent language we call body language. Before your tongue ever moves, your posture, your gestures, and even your eyes are already speaking on your behalf. And people, whether consciously or not, are always reading it. A strong personality and lasting confidence are not just built by what you say, but also by what your body communicates to the world. When we talk about building personality and confidence, people often imagine it's all about powerful words, intelligent conversations, or grand achievements. But research in psychology and human behavior repeatedly shows that our nonverbal communication shapes how others perceive us, and even more importantly, how we perceive ourselves. In other words, the way you sit, walk, and hold yourself can either tell your brain, "I am capable and in control," or "I am weak and unsure." It works in both directions. Take something as simple as posture. When you slouch, keep your shoulders caved in, or avoid lifting your head, your body is physically mirroring a lack of confidence. People will often interpret it as disinterest, insecurity, or even defeat. But the moment you straighten your back, lift your chin slightly, and allow your chest to open, something powerful happens. Not only do you appear more confident to those around you, but your own brain begins to feel more alert and empowered. This is why athletes, leaders, and even stage performers consciously practice their posture. It's like wearing confidence on the outside until it seeps into the inside. Then there's the magic of eye contact. Your eyes are the windows to your inner world, and people can feel the difference between avoidance and connection. When you meet someone's gaze, you're silently saying, "I am present, I see you. I am comfortable in my own skin." Avoiding eye contact, on the other hand, often signals fear, guilt, or low self-worth. Even if you don't intend to project that. I remember once speaking to a young man who was intelligent and kind-hearted, yet he always looked down during conversations. People misread him as uninterested or shy, while he was simply overthinking. All he needed was the courage to meet someone's eyes with warmth, not aggression, and everything about his personality began to shift. But let me clarify something important. Confidence in body language is not about arrogance or intimidation. True confidence is calm, approachable, and grounded. Standing tall doesn't mean puffing your chest out as if you are superior to the world. Making eye contact doesn't mean staring someone down until they feel uncomfortable. It's about balance. It's about sending a message of inner peace and assurance rather than fear or ego. One way to develop confident body language is to practice conscious awareness in your daily interactions. The next time you walk into a room, pause and notice how you enter. Are your shoulders relaxed or tight? Are you rushing as if you are apologizing for your presence? Or are you walking at a comfortable, deliberate pace? Try this small shifting. Slow down, take a natural deep breath, and walk in with the mindset, "I belong here as much as anyone else." This one adjustment can change how others respond to you and how you respond to yourself. Another useful exercise is to engage in what psychologists call power posing. This doesn't mean striking superhero stances all day long, but simply taking a moment in private to expand your body. Stand tall, lift your arms slightly, open your chest. Studies have shown that this physical expansion can temporarily boost your feelings of confidence and reduce stress hormones. Over time, this inner sense of strength naturally reflects in your daily posture. And remember, body language is not just for strangers or formal interactions. It affects every relationship in your life. Imagine sitting with a family member, a friend, or a colleague. If your arms are crossed, your body turned away, and your eyes glued to your phone, what message are you sending? Compare that to leaning slightly in, maintaining soft eye contact, nodding when they speak. Without saying a word, you are showing respect, attention, and warmth. These small nonverbal gestures shape how people experience your personality far more than you may realize. I've often said that confidence is not shouting loudly in a room. Confidence is the quiet assurance that you are enough without needing to prove it to everyone, and that assurance begins with how you carry yourself. Your body will either be your ally in building personality and confidence, or it will silently work against you. It is up to you to decide which one it will be. So tomorrow, as you step out into the world, remember this: long before your words reach anyone, your body is already delivering a message. Let it speak of calmness, presence, and self-respect. Stand tall, breathe deeply, and meet the world eye to eye. A confident body does not just change how others see you, It transforms how you see yourself. There is a saying that has survived for centuries, and we have 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. Most of us were taught to speak, to express, to argue, to make our point heard, but very few were taught the art of listening. Yet, if you study the people who carry the strongest and most admired personalities, you will notice a common trait: they listen more than they speak. Listening is not just about staying silent while the other person talks. True listening is an act of humility, patience, and connection. It requires you to temporarily step outside your own ego and give another human being the rare gift of your undivided attention. And in today's world, where everyone is busy thinking of what they will say next, a good listener is a rare treasure. Why does listening build personality and confidence? Because when you listen with sincerity, you start understanding the world beyond your own thoughts. Most of us are trapped in the prison of our own perspective. We are always rehearsing our next sentence, defending our opinions, or trying to look smart. But confident people don't need to constantly prove themselves. They are secure enough to let others speak, to absorb, to learn. Their silence does not come from fear, it comes from strength. I once met a wise elderly man during a community event. He barely spoke during the group conversation. Most of the younger ones, myself included, were busy sharing stories and opinions. Hours later, as people began leaving, he quietly shared a single observation with me. Just a few sentences. But those words carried the weight of understanding and life experience. And I realized then that his wisdom came not from constant talking, but from years of listening, reflecting, and connecting the dots of life silently. When you listen deeply, you give people something that is in short supply to take validation. Everyone wants to feel heard. It doesn't matter if it's a colleague, a friend, or a stranger. Being truly heard softens hearts and opens doors. People will walk away from a conversation with you thinking, there's something special about this person. Even if you hardly spoke, that special quality is not a mystery, it's the personality trait of presence. There is also a psychological depth to this. Human relationships thrive on trust, and trust is built not by talking about yourself, but by making others feel understood. When people sense that you are genuinely interested in what they are saying, without interrupting, without scrolling your phone, without mentally preparing your rebuttal, they naturally gravitate toward you. You become magnetic not because of the words you say, but because of the space you create for others to exist comfortably in your presence. Now, some may worry, but if I listen more and speak less, won't people overlook me? On the contrary, when you speak less but with thought and sincerity, your words carry more weight. People are drawn to those who do not speak unnecessarily. Think about the leaders, mentors, or personalities you admire. Often, their pauses, their attentiveness, and their choice of words leave a stronger impression than someone who dominates the conversation endlessly. Listening also shapes your inner confidence. When you listen, you learn. You begin to understand different viewpoints, new knowledge, and insights that constant talking would have robbed you of. Every conversation becomes a classroom. The more you listen, the wiser you become, and wisdom naturally builds confidence. Ignorance, on the other hand, often hides behind excessive talking. There is a spiritual dimension here as well. A humble heart listens because it knows it does not hold all the answers. Arrogance interrupts. Ego talks over others. Humility leans in and learns. Even in faith, we are taught that silence and reflection are pathways to understanding and growth. By listening, you also give yourself the space to process your own thoughts before responding, which prevents regrets and hasty words that might harm relationships. So, how can we start practicing the art of listening in our daily lives? Begin small. The next time someone speaks to you, fight the urge to interrupt. Put away distractions. Look at them. Truly look at them, and listen as if nothing else exists at that moment. Not to show you are following. Repeat a point they made in your own words to show you understood. These little habits are like polishing the mirror of your personality. Slowly, people will start to see a version of you that is calmer, wiser, and more magnetic. I want to leave you with a thought. The loudest voices are not always the most impactful. Sometimes the most powerful person in the room is the one who speaks the least but understands the most. In your journey to improve your personality and confidence, do not underestimate the strength of a listening heart. Because when you truly listen, you do more than hear, you heal, you connect, and you grow. One of the most powerful ways to transform your personality and grow your confidence is to make learning a daily habit. Knowledge is like light. It illuminates your path, sharpens your vision, and gives you a presence that others cannot ignore. A person who learns continuously is like a tree that keeps growing new branches and bearing new fruit. On the other hand, someone who stops learning begins to wither inside long before the world notices it on the outside. Have you ever met someone whose words immediately capture your attention? Not because they are loud or dramatic, but because they are informed and thoughtful. That kind of presence does not come from luck. It comes from consistent learning. Every day they add a small piece of knowledge to their mind, and over time, those small pieces come together to form a personality that is rich, confident, and magnetic. Now, many people believe that learning only belongs to school, college, or formal training. They graduate, hang up their certificates, and unconsciously close the doors of curiosity. But the truth is, the most extraordinary personalities are lifelong students. They understand that the world is an endless classroom and that every conversation, every book, every experience can teach them something. Learning something new every day does not have to be complicated. It can be as simple as reading a page from a book, listening to a meaningful podcast, or reflecting on a lesson from your own daily experiences. You could learn a new word, a new skill, or a new insight about human nature. The key is consistency. Imagine if, for the next 365 days, you learn just one small, meaningful thing each day. By the end of the year, your mind will have expanded in ways you cannot even predict. That expansion reflects in how you talk, how you solve problems, and how you carry yourself. Confidence grows naturally when your mind is well fed. There is a psychological truth here: knowledge reduces fear. Much of our insecurity comes from ignorance, from walking into situations where we feel unprepared. The more you learn, the more confident you become in handling the uncertainties of life. For example, if you take just 15 minutes a day to learn about communication skills, public speaking, or emotional intelligence, in a few months, you will walk into social situations with a quiet assurance. You will no longer be afraid of being judged because your inner foundation is strong. Learning also makes you more interesting to others. People are naturally drawn to those who can share insights, stories, and solutions that uplift conversations rather than drain them. But here's the beautiful thing. You don't even have to talk much. Just having knowledge makes you listen differently, observe differently, and respond thoughtfully. Even your silence begins to carry weight, because when you finally speak, your words have substance. There is also a humility in learning that polishes your personality. When you dedicate yourself to daily growth, you automatically acknowledge that you don't know everything. This humility makes you approachable, while your knowledge makes you respected. That is the perfect balance of a powerful personality: respect without arrogance, confidence without ego. I remember meeting a young professional who was very shy and struggled with self-confidence. He once told me that he felt invisible in every room he entered. I advised him to pick just one topic he was passionate about and spend a few minutes each day learning something new about it. Within months, he had built such depth in that subject that people began turning to him for advice. His confidence blossomed, not because he suddenly became loud or bold, but because he carried the quiet strength of knowledge. So, how do we make learning a daily habit in a world full of distractions? The key is to start small and stay consistent. Dedicate even 10 to 15 minutes a day to intentional learning. It could be a page from a book, a short educational video, a meaningful conversation, or reflecting on your own successes and mistakes. And here's a secret: reflection itself is a form of learning. If you take 5 minutes at the end of the day to ask yourself, what did I learn today about myself, about people, about life? You will notice that your personality begins to sharpen without you even realizing it. There's a saying that knowledge is power. But I believe knowledge is more than power. It is confidence. It is the quiet armor you wear in a world that often tests your strength. Every piece of knowledge you gain is like a brick in the fortress of your self-belief. So, I leave you with this reflection: every day that passes without learning is a day your personality remains the same. But each small lesson, each new insight, is like a drop of water shaping the stone of your character. Learn something new every day and watch how your confidence no longer needs to be performed. It will simply radiate from within.